What's up? It's the Real Pac-Man, and you're listening to the EarBudz podcast, powered by Smoklahoma TV. Joining me today is Giddy Up. He's a vertical operator. What's going on?
Man, just sitting back, twisting one up, getting ready to come on the show with you.
I know that's right.
It's quarantine. Quarantine.
Yeah, I know,
day.
man. It's hard to not do an episode and not talk about it. It's just it's almost impossible because it's crazy everywhere.
It is, stuff like this really, hasn't happened on this scale before. It's kind of, it's kind of crazy.
Hopefully we get through this and get back to life,
Yeah, though the best thing I've seen so far said this is the third time this week I'm going to buy 2 weeks worth of weed.
Ain't that it? Stock it up.
Everybody's just sitting at home smoking and shit, being quarantined. Like, they're burning through all their weed. I own a dispensary, so I've had this conversation with my patients, kind of like, I'm stocking up. Let me get an ounce. Be gone for a couple weeks. Shit, I see motherfuckers again in 3 days. Like, can I get another ounce?
Well, I noticed that most of the shops haven't been bringing their prices down in the midst of this. I would argue that they raised them.
I wouldn't put it past some of them.
Yeah.
I did some specials for some people that come in and do ounces, but like at the same time, I didn't pay to market any of those deals. You know what I mean? I just kind of told my regulars and my people that were coming in that we were taking care of them.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to use it to get business, which I see some people dropping their prices and then advertising real hard, and it's like, it's a little, little tasteless. But I think most shops are definitely trying to take care of the people that come in every day or the people that are, they see them all the time. I'm sure they're working with them. My interactions with OMA and with everybody has been pretty respectful of the situation. The fact that we were still considered an essential business, I think, was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to shut down dispensaries in Denver for about 8 minutes, and then they opened them back up because it was just creating these large groups of people in the areas around Denver that, that had dispensaries. So like nobody could go to the dispensary. They thought they were going to shut them all down. Like you said, lines out wrapped around the building. And that's exactly what people are trying to avoid, is these
right.
groups. So it's really kind of like they saw the ramifications of what they did and was like, oh shit, open them back up.
Right.
Us personally at my shops, we serve people now through a window. We disinfect on a very timely schedule, 4 times an hour. We hit the main lobby with disinfectant, clean areas. But pretty much basically, as soon as it starts to dry up, we're back out there hitting it again. And I've had customers complain. I've had patients come in that want to smell the weed, like, can't let you touch the weed, man. Like,
right.
I can't let you get your face all up in the weed.
Right. Your nose dripping into it or something crazy.
Right. Something crazy. Like, so like can't let them stick their nose in the jar. Some people get mad and like, well, I'm gonna go somewhere where they'll let me smell it.
Okay. Enjoy that alley.
Yeah. Do what you got to do. I'd rather lose 10, 15, 100 customers to inconvenience than to lose one because they came to my spot for medicine and ended up getting sick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's just counterproductive. Like, or not counterproductive, just like opposite of everything that I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Like I've made a good living and had a lot of fun trying to, keep people well and give people a healthy alternative for medicine. I would hate to see that become the thing that was their downfall.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you were in Denver, and I do want to ask you, as far as what was going on in Denver and what you've seen like this first year and a half, 2 years in Oklahoma, do you see like the projection being greater than some of these other states that were medical, like just the medical program?
Just the medical program. Well, I mean, we have a great medical, And I know that because a part of my gig in the past has been to work with different regulators and verbiage on rules and stuff that have been implied. I've done that in states like Nevada, Colorado, California, uh, fucking Jamaica, um, and others too. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the authors of the Unity Bill here in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So like a lot of that work that went into that was with me, Rachel Bussett, Bud Scott, and Ron Durbin.
Right.
We all sat there in a room for a few days and jammed that out. Now it got changed around when it got into the hands of our elected officials. There was stuff made, and concessions made that we weren't a part of anymore.
Right.
But we gave them a great framework. Fortunately for us, they kept a lot of that framework by protecting patients' Second Amendment rights, by protecting patients' parental rights,
Right.
and a handful of other things that other states just don't have. And because of the company that I own and the work that I do in multiple states, it's very important for me to keep a clear eye on what's going on in one place because that don't always work in another.
Right. Right.
So saying that and seeing what we have in Oklahoma and owning multiple cannabis businesses in Oklahoma and in other states, I know that our program here is the best by far.
Awesome.
One of the reasons being is the license price was $2,500. Brother, we have 2,200 dispensaries in the state last time I checked. That number could be up. No state's ever had that many pop up, and especially since we're a small and relatively less populated state as
Right.
some of the other medical marijuana states. You know what that did? That gave everybody who was really about weed but was broke, right? That
Mm-hmm.
gave them a chance to get
Yeah.
in the game and to
Pull
start
everything
running.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean $7,500, plus your OB and DDs, you can come out here and get a license and you
Yeah.
could open a dispensary and legally sell weed. So like it makes working here difficult because we're super saturated with stores. A lot of people are going to fail, but a lot of people are not going to fail. And a
Right.
lot of people are going to have left behind the fucking roofing job, the carpet laying, the used car sailing,
Yeah.
whatever you came from, like that's done now. And now you're in the cannabis industry. That's one of the miracles, man. Look what happened in New Jersey and some of these other states. Like they made it to where Massachusetts, you had to have like 500,000 in an escrow account just to apply.
Right.
You're like, like that's why I get hired by fucking rich dudes to go out and explain weed stuff to them. You know what I mean? Because those are the type of people that typically win licenses.
Right.
Not your,
Right.
not your cousin. And now your cousin could very well own a medical marijuana. I think I have one that does. And that's beautiful, right? Because this was a grassroots movement from the lower middle class and lower class of people in this country, right? And I'm not talking race or religion or gender or anything like that.
Just class. Yeah.
This transcends all that, right? Because they're all affected by it, and like they're the ones coming up, the lower middle class, like the guys that were going to be fucking arrested and thrown in prison for selling pot are now businessmen.
Yeah. It's kind of poetic.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle. Like, ask your
Yeah.
parents; they never thought they would see this.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see it. Like, but at the same time, I always knew it was going to happen. I just didn't
Right.
realize it was going to happen so quick. To be fair, my calendar for things breaking has always been pretty right on point. Like when we're talking politics. And I think federally, we've never been so close to federal decriminalization or a federal medical marijuana program as we are now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's going to be necessary. I mean, we need to have it needs to be federally legal, and it definitely needs to be decriminalized. The bills that I've looked at for recreational here have just not been good at all.
No, man. And it really takes our industry / community to keep an eye on those because I can't remember the proposition number. I think it was a Prop 19 I want to say it was Prop 19 in California, was horrible for the cannabis industry. It would have handed it over to a handful of people with big corporation ties, and like the government was going to do everything, and it pretty much killed any existing cannabis industry, right?
Yeah.
And that almost passed in California without a single weed person being in support of it.
Yeah, that's scary.
Because so a lot of people, yeah, weed should be legal, and that's where it ends. They don't say weed should be legal, and we should probably protect the jobs of all these people who have been working for the past 10 years in a semi-legal environment that have thrown their life savings and are fully into it. Like, we should probably find a way to grandfather them in and protect that industry that we're trying to legitimize. Like that never happens. So
Right.
what you get is a cannabis law passing that people don't like. It almost happened here in Oklahoma.
It's easy to go up to somebody who wants to smoke cannabis but doesn't want to get a medical card and say, hey, this says recreational and it says decriminalization at the top of it.
Where
and
do I
just need
sign?
your signature.
Where
exactly.
do I sign?
Without reading anything.
Without reading anything or knowing anything about it. When was it 807 or 805 came across, and I was still allowed on Facebook because if you haven't noticed, I kind of got a potty mouth and I do some crazy stuff. So Facebook like permanently banned me, which is cool because I'm like kind of anti-social media now. That being said, you can follow me at official Giddy Up on Instagram.
There you go. Yeah.
Everybody's asking, "Oh, are you excited?" And when I read it, I was like, "No, like this garbage. Who co-signed on this?" And a lot of social media commentators, local Oklahoma people, trying to get their name out as influencers or whatever. Some weird cannabis marketing Ponzi scheme type shit, and they were co-signing on it out of the gate, and they were like, well, they had to sign NDAs and shit about it, and I'm like, y'all sold out the first ticket that got waved to y'all, because if y'all read this
across the table,
yeah, like y'all didn't even ask to see us
smoking outside. I was like, what?
Right?
I'm like, how's it recreational? You can't smoke. That the point of recreational? It's just it's insane. I think they need to let this medical program grow before they start doing recreational here. That's just my opinion. Give us a little time so that the patients don't feel like they're forgotten about once you make it recreational.
I think it's very clear in this industry who is intelligent and operates and who is blowing smoke. And I think everybody else just needs to wake up to that same fact. Like, if you are getting talked to about weed by a guy in a suit that doesn't smoke,
right,
then you're not getting the right information. And that's from top to bottom. Every elected official that works, like, I get it. Like, most of them don't like stoners. Right?
No.
Like they're very quick to dismiss it, and they're very likely to pick a resource in the cannabis industry that is more like them than someone that's like us.
Right.
They grab a Chad and they get told about the weed industry, and they start making rules and regulations that throw everything off because the foundation of that knowledge was corrupted.
Right.
I say that because I talk to senators, congressmen, some here in our own state. I get calls, at 11:30 at night. Hey, got some weed questions for you. Yeah, let's talk. And I hear the things that they hear from other people, and I'm like, that's just, categorically false. Whoever is saying that doesn't really have the experience to know what they're talking about. That sounds like second and third hand information. If, like, I hate to admit, but like, if you can't get down at a level of quality that I get down at, like, you don't even stand a chance. Like, you won't be here in a year. You got to get better or get out, because the industry will fix itself, and good weed will always have a good price, and outdoor boof weed will always have a cheaper price. And once the industry gets familiar with that, like, those numbers will soak up to where they're supposed to be. And if your shit ain't great, it falls into that bottom category, and you're spent more money growing weed that was worth as much as, you know, outdoor. Those type of companies that do that, they don't survive. So
Man.
the margins aren't what they were 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I can't go make $100,000 off a duffel bag.
Right,
But,
right.
but you know, with the margins being tighter, like the overhead is, you know, is actually something you have to watch now. When this industry started, nobody cared about overhead. Didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're selling weed. Like, you could go rent a house in fucking Bel Air, you know, or you could go rent one on the South Side. Like, it didn't matter. You were gonna grow weed in it. You were gonna make money.
Right.
Didn't have to have any kind of business acumen to
go with
you know,
it. Yeah.
right. Like, I grew this in my closet and it's $4,000 a pound.
Right.
You know, like, guy's making $250,000 a year. He don't even have to leave his house or put on pants. Like, that's not the way it is anymore.
Man, it's been so awesome talking with you. We definitely gonna have to talk about your 4 Cannabis Cup wins and all this other stuff. But for sure, I want to thank Giddy Up for joining me.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, man. And y'all been listening to the EarBudz podcast powered by Smoklahoma TV. Go to YouTube, search Smoklahoma TV, Smoklahoma TV, and follow us. Share these videos and podcasts. Thank you.
Stay safe, people.